Hey, Miss W here. I'm going to remind you on simplifying radicals. Now, you just watched how to do this from a previous video, but remember our perfect squares are numbers like 2 times 2, which is 4, 3 times 3, 9, 16, 25, 36, so on and so forth. The same number multiplied by itself. So when we simplify the square root, we are looking for one of these perfect square factors as one of the factors of this. So if I'm looking at 8 and I'm looking at my list over here, factors, I can see 4 goes into 8 evenly. And what number times 4 gives you 8? Well, the answer is 2. So this simplifies to the square root of 4, which is 2, radical 2. But what if I have something like 4 radical 8? I want to remind you how to do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of like box in this 4 right now. I'm gonna kind of ignore that and just deal with my radical 8. We said above that this perfect square is 4 times 2 gives me radical 8. So this is really 2 radical 2. Now look at the outside number, and outside I mean outside of the radical. You take that number and you multiply it by the number that is already outside. So 2 times 4 is 8, so the answer is 8, and you bring your radical 2 over. Let me try another example. I just wanted to remind you of this before you took your practice or your assignment. Let's use 32, for example. All right, so I'm going to ignore my 4 right now, and I'm going to look at 32. And here's another way I do it. Make sure you're using your square root so you don't get confused. Perfect square that goes into 32. I've got 4, 9, 16, 36, and I want the largest one. So remember that. I didn't say that before, but you want the largest one. So I'm going to see if 16 goes into 32. So on Desmos in my other screen, I'm going to take 32 and I'm going to divide it by 16. And I see that it is 2. So the largest perfect square is 36 times, is 16. 16 times 2. 16 times 2 gives you the 32. Okay, we got one of our perfect squares for a reason, because we want to take it outside of our radical. So the square root of 16 is 4, and I have a radical 2. Now, do you remember what you do with these two outside numbers? Outside number already there? Hopefully you said, yeah, you're going to multiply, Miss W. And so you have 16 radical 2. And one more, just let me use a larger number. Let's try something like, let's try something like 150. Yeah, let's do 6 and the square root of 150. Okay, 150 is not a perfect square. So again, I've got my numbers right. 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 16, 25. So I'm going to have those in the handy, those notes handy when I'm doing this. And I'm looking for one of these largest perfect square that goes into 150. Now if I kept going, 7 times 7 is 49, and then we got 64, 81. I'm getting too large. These numbers, if you times them by 2, are larger than 150. So I know I would try, maybe I don't know what this is off the top of my head. Maybe you do. So I would take 150 in my calculator and I would divide it by 49 to see if it works. And you would find that it doesn't. Then I would take 150 divided by 36, and that doesn't go in evenly either. Then 150 divided by 25, and there you would see it. So 25 times 6 gives you 150. So the reason why you used one of these perfect squares is so you can take the square root of it. The square root of 25 is 5. If you don't know that, use Desmos. And you're left with your radical 6. Okay, but remember what you do with the outside numbers. You multiply those together. So the final answer would be 30 radical 6.